Okay, well, to keep everyone on time, we will go ahead and get started. This webinar will be recorded, so there will be a lot of deadlines and information here, so you will be able to reference it at a later date. So a brief overview on the World Credit Union Conference. It'll be held online from Wednesday, July 14th to Wednesday, July 21st. We will be providing content to our audiences every day that week, minus the weekend. Our Worldwide Foundation will provide education and networking, and we will also be hosting a full day of interactive workshops. Full details on programming can be found on our conference website at WCUC.org. Here's a brief overview of our projected attendee demographics. We expect around 1,000 credit union executives made up of CEOs, board members, volunteers, senior management, and thanks to a virtual environment, more entry-level and middle management positions. Our attendees come from over 60 different countries, with the largest populations coming from USA, Brazil, Kenya, and Canada. We ask that you keep in mind these demographics when presenting your content and provide a global perspective on your topic. Also, if you have any questions, feel free to put those in the chat and Cassandra will ask them for me. Many of our attendees use our conference to collect continuing professional education credits, also known as CPEs. Some of our attendees are looking to get their CPAs, but also for other professional designations around the world, we offer the CPE credits. World Council is a registered program sponsor with NASBA, so we do follow their educational standards. For every program we sponsor, we're required to state each of the items listed below. The two that we ask you to consider and help us define for your session are the learning objectives and the program description. As we finalize your session, please keep in mind that your presentation needs to be consistent with the stated objectives and description as previously defined. We require you to be available in the question and answer, and we'll discuss this later on in the presentation, as this is in regulation with our NASBA certification. We are excited to host the first virtual World Credit Union Conference. World Council has chosen the platform FeedLoop to provide the best value to our attendees. We found FeedLoop met our needs best because of their translation and global technology options. Let's take a quick look inside the platform to get a better idea of what your session will look like. So here you can see we're inside the FeedLoop platform, logged in as myself. On the left-hand side will be the navigation where the agenda and the sessions will live. So now we're clicked inside of sessions and we're inside of the keynote session on Wednesday, July 14th. Your pre-recorded video will live where you see this video here. And on the right-hand side is the chat. This is where attendees can engage with each other and where you'll be able to answer questions that come up throughout the presentation for question and answer. Below the video will be the speaker bios, the session description, and a link for any additional uploaded documents that you would like to include in your session. A total of 27 breakout sessions will be provided to our attendees. Breakout sessions will take part during 2 different days, Wednesday, July 14th and Wednesday, July 21st. During the breakout session timing, we will have 3 concurring breakout sessions available for attendees to view at the same time. Most sessions are 40 minutes with 3 panels at 60 minutes in length. The session times are very strict, so please keep this in mind when preparing your content outlines. Panelists, please make sure you have organized the time allotted per speaker in the order of which the speaker will talk prior to your recording. There will be no live Q&A as we had previously discussed when booking you as a speaker. We now will require the speakers to be live and present in the chat to engage with attendees during their session. We will state before the session that you will be in the chat to answer questions, and then your session will begin. Please view our schedule on our website to confirm your session time held in US Central Time, as sometimes have changed since the confirmation of your session. Your session will appear semi-live to our audiences and will be simultaneously translated via live translators into Spanish, Portuguese, and Korean via a Zoom meeting pop-out. We ask you to keep in mind the speed of your presentation when recording to accommodate our translators. Once your recorded session plays in the platform during your live time slot, it'll be available for on-demand viewing for our attendees. The platform will remain open up to 6 months after the last day of the event for our attendees to watch your session. Now for the important information of how we will pre-record your session. First, if you have not received or returned a signed copy of our speaker agreement consenting to your recording being broadcasted to our audiences, please email me or return your signed copy as soon as possible. We will be scheduling recording times for each session. Panelists will work in conjunction with our production team to coordinate multi-speaker recordings, and all other sessions will be recorded with WCUC's virtual events team. We will aim to have one-take recordings for each session, so we ask that you come prepared to your recording. I will be sharing a doodle poll and a follow-up email for you to provide all of your available times. Sessions will begin recording in May. Please complete the doodle poll link by this Friday, May 14th. We will be in contact to confirm your recording time once you complete the doodle poll. Here are some of the items you will need to record a successful session. We will discuss PowerPoint and AV requirements in the next slides. And we do require business attire for the recording of your session. We have the following requirements regarding your presentation. Our tips and trips document that will be sent later in an email along with this recording will cover more of our suggestions to engage with our audience. We ask you use the conference slide template as seen in this webinar. This will also be sent to you via email. Please make sure your PowerPoints are set to widescreen format of 16:9 ratio. Panelists, please provide one PowerPoint presentation per session in the order the speakers will be presenting. We also encourage you to we also ask that you keep the amount of text per slide to a limit and provide videos in MP4 format. Finally, all presentations must be submitted to me by Friday, May 21st for content review. We recommend the following guidelines to make sure your session recording goes as smooth as possible. Internet connection is most important, and wired is more stable than wireless internet if you're able to accommodate that. Keep in mind your lighting, making sure the light in your area is facing you. You can also view tips and tricks in our video filming document that will be sent following this webinar. If you have any concerns about your audiovisual requirements prior to recording, please reach out to me to coordinate a solution. Without the social responsibility of a physical setting, we know that online attendees have shorter attention spans, so we need to ensure to alter our presentations accordingly. What may take 1 hour to deliver in a physical setting should be delivered in 1/3 of the time or less online. You may have noticed our session time slots are shorter this year than they typically are in person, and that was intentional. We're looking for you to provide our attendees with timely, bite-sized chunks of knowledge that they can connect with. And we hope that even beyond the session chat, attendees will feel empowered to connect with you one-on-one following the session for more information if they still have questions. In organizing that compact content, we ask that you start with a powerful statement or learning objective. Keep opening remarks to a minimum. We know that attendees online choose in the first 1 to 2 minutes whether they will stay for the rest of the session, so we need to plan accordingly. Our moderators' introductions will be minimal, given your biographies will be listed below the video, so we really want to jump right into the content. We'll talk more about adult learning on the next slide, but where applicable, alternate data-heavy points with stories that will help the audience connect with information you've just presented. Unlike a movie, we're not looking to end with attendees feeling done. They should feel motivated and have their wheels turning. Reiterate what you wanted them to take away from the session, or by asking them to reflect on how they can use the content presented. Ideally, you would be looking to provide a new visual at least every 60 seconds and keep each slide to one clear idea or topic. To help optimize your content even further, give some consideration to the ways that adults learn best. Call your audience to action. Find a few stories that really drive home your points. Give them opportunities to reflect and leverage that in the chat. Adults love interacting, so let's take a look at a few more engagement techniques. During your presentation, seek to impose responsibility on your audience. When attending a meeting physically, they have a social responsibility not to be rude. So when we're virtual, we have to create that responsibility. So during your pre-record, we'll be looking for you to give attendees some directives, such as, welcome to my home. I'm here to answer your questions, so don't leave me alone in the chat. Or let me know in the chat what your challenge in this area has been. You can connect with and get to know your audience by asking them questions. For example, before the session starts, introduce yourself in the chat and ask some icebreaker questions. What are you hoping to learn today? Where are you from? Even just agreeing with the chat comments when applicable provides instant recognitions and help us keep the audience engaged. And of course, throughout the session, respond to their questions. You can also say, we've gotten feedback that answering question and answer throughout the session in the chat has been preferable to attendees rather than waiting until the end of the session for audio question and answer. We're hoping to implement a few poll questions as well into your session. So provide a few poll questions to me with your session description that we can pop up for attendees during the session in designated points, and we can acknowledge the results in the chat. This will be handled when we do the pre-record of your session. Providing supplemental reading materials may also help your audience get more detailed information about your topic. If you're covering a lot of terminology, rather than define each term in your talk, you might want to create a terminology document that you can provide in a link below your video in the additional documents area for attendees to reference during your session. So here are some speaker follow-ups and a timeline. Most of you are already registered to attend the conference as I input your speaker profile into our system. You do not need to register yourself to claim your complimentary registration. Closer to the event, you'll be sent a login for the virtual platform. Your registration grants you access to the full event, and conference details can be found on our conference website. In a follow-up email, I'll be sharing the link to complete the doodle poll. Please submit all of your available times by this Friday, May 14th. You will receive an email from me the week of the 17th confirming your reserved time slot of your recording. Our production team will edit your session to make it ready for audience viewing during May and June. And on July 7th, you'll receive an invite to check out the online platform and start connecting with credit union professionals from around the globe. The conference kicks off Wednesday, July 14th at 9 a.m. US Central Standard Time with our keynote session. So here are some takeaways from this webinar. You'll be sent this recording, the doodle poll link, the tips and tricks document, and the conference PowerPoint template. Please review the doodle poll as soon as possible and complete your availability by this Friday. And you can begin working on your presentation as those are due to me by Friday, May 21st. We thank you in advance for providing your valuable insights to our delegates, and we look forward to a great event. So now let's see what questions we have. Yes, May 21st is the deadline to have the PowerPoint back with all the content so we can review that prior to your session. Camilla, I think for the panels, we can work together to see what deadlines there can be for the PowerPoint presentation. Karen, I'll work with you on the audio recording options that are available. You'll be working with our production team with the with your panel. Corinne, for the pre-recorded session, so we just want to pre-record you asking the poll, saying, now we'll have a poll on where you're from, and then we'll pre-populate that poll. But then since it's pre-recorded, obviously you won't be able to provide the data right there, but they'll be able to kind of fill in some context on that we're answering the poll, but we just want the poll to provide attendees a way to interact, but it won't be you presenting the live data since it is pre-recorded. Tracy, I think your session was one of the ones that's changed, so I'll follow up with you in an email on the time. I think it's the same day. It's either going to be July 14th or July 21st, but there was some time changes, so I will follow up with that. We don't have a prototype session yet that we can share, but we can share a recording of one of our internal staff sessions. Once we record that will be a better understanding of what we're looking for. Does anybody else have any other questions? The platform that we're using is called FeedLoop, but the videos will be hosted through Zoom, through streaming. Hi, Lexi. Yes, we try to accommodate every time zone, but we know that it's hard with the international. So I did my best to place the sessions that accommodate the speakers not having to be on in the middle of the night. Hi, Patrick. For your session, that is the youth panel, we will be working with the production team to coordinate your recording so that everyone can record at once. Yes, Camilla. So that's up to you and the panelists to decide what you think is the best time slot. There's 3 panelists per that session. So if 20 minutes is how you want to divide that time, then that's a good time limit. That's usually what we suggest. So that's up to you and your panelists to discuss the best time slot per person for the 60-minute panel. Joe, for the breakout sessions, those will be handled with us. So you will fill out the doodle poll and then we'll be in contact with you to confirm the time session. And then our WCUC virtual events team will be online and help you record your session through Zoom. Yes, the presentations on the conference day, everything will be pre-recorded, nothing will be live. So the only live aspect that we're asking from the speakers is that they are online inside the platform, answering any questions and engaging with the attendees in the chat. Directly after we end this webinar, we will be uploading it to a YouTube link, and I will share an email with the recording to all speakers along with all the deadlines and links and documents that I've mentioned in this webinar. So those materials will be coming to you today. Are there any other questions? I'm always available on email as well. My email is listed on this slide. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out throughout the whole process. Okay, well, if there's not any questions, I will be in touch directly after this, following up with those documents. We appreciate your time. Thank you so much for providing your insight to our attendees. We're very excited to host the first virtual World Credit Union conference, and we're looking forward to a great event. Thank you.